Biofilms sequester nutrients. Rob the body of nutrients.
I'm going to be talking about oral biofilms, and they are structured microbial communities on teeth and gums, primarily composed of bacteria like Streptococcus mutans, and they play a key role in oral health. I'll also be talking about some of the effects of fluoride and common toothpaste chemicals on oral biofilms and nutrient absorption. So, fluoride in toothpaste inhibits bacterial metabolism and acid production by interfering with enzymes like enolase and disrupting proton gradients. And the effect on biofilm is that it reduces adhesion of S mutans to enamel, therefore decreasing the acidity, lowering the risk of dental caries. And there are other chemicals in toothpaste as well, such as Triclosan, an antimicrobial, reduces biofilm thickness and bacterial viability, therefore affecting oral microbiome diversity. Also, sodium lauryl sulfate, a surfactant, and disrupts bacterial membranes and biofilm structure, can cause mucosal irritation in some individuals, um, which isn't good because the nutrients, they have to come into contact with the mucosa in in the gut of an individual, and as a result of the mucosal irritation by sodium lauryl sulfate, that could lead to a nutrient deficiency. So the toothpaste chemicals, they generally suppress pathogenic bacteria in biofilms, reduce plaque accumulation, and may modulate microbial community, but they can also suppress the beneficial bacteria if overused. But there are some other serious effects of long-term fluoride exposure, especially if it's swallowed even in small amounts over time. Okay, also zinc salts in toothpaste, such as zinc citrate, zinc chloride, can reduce volatile sulfur compounds and inhibits biofilms, possibly, hopefully, in the bad bacteria. So small amounts could be swallowed, and over many years, repeated exposure may lead to systemic effects, and mainly related to fluoride and certain mineral binding compounds, influences nutrient handling in the body. So, fluoride can bind with positively charged minerals in the digestive tract or bloodstream, and there are possible effects with the long-term excess exposure that can have an effect on the bones uh, because of calcium binding. So fluoride can combine with calcium to form calcium fluoride, and this reduces bioavailable calcium in the gut, affecting the bones over time. But also, there is also magnesium interference because fluoride competes with magnesium in enzyme reactions. Okay, so fluoride um, forms insoluble complexes, and fluoride can bind magnesium in the gut and tissues, and the outcomes are reduced free magnesium availability and increased magnesium excretion, and also increased urinary magnesium loss. So, some studies have shown that fluoride exposure can increase renal, magnesium excretion, and altered kidney handling of magnesium. And there are also bone interactions when fluoride accumulates in bone, alters magnesium incorporation in the bone matrix. And fluoride also affects these mechanisms, absorption of magnesium via passive diffusion and active transport via channels. The possible mechanisms that fluoride has on gut irritation and inflammation, as high fluoride exposure may damage intestinal epithelium, therefore reducing mineral absorption. Okay, so this isn't good because reducing magnesium levels also means altered or higher cancer risk, because magnesium is required to reduce and modulate GLO1 or GLO1 for short. So basically that's a part of advanced glycation end products, or part of reducing it. And magnesium is required to lower that GLO1, and or to manage it. And if it can't, there's going to be an alteration or even an increased risk of advanced glycation end products, or ages. What that ends up doing is that the ApoB48 becomes glycated, uh, because the ages aren't reduced. Therefore, that also affects the APCs, or short for antigen presenting cells, that they are supposed to train naive T cells, uh, because naive T cells, they need training in order to function and battle cancer cells. But without the APCs training them, then the T cells are actually they don't know what to do in battle against cancer. They kind of just like stand around doing nothing. Therefore, weakening T cells against cancer cells. So that goes to show that fluoride's negative effects on magnesium can weaken the immune system. Also, if magnesium levels are low because of fluoride, this affects the lysosomal membrane, is that there will be a peroxidation of the membrane, and the membrane will be impaired, uh, and it will continue to stay impaired because magnesium is supposed to support repair enzymes. But of course, it can't do that if fluoride is negatively affecting the absorption of magnesium. Therefore, in the lysosome, if the membranes are impaired in lysosomal membrane peroxidation, then that's going to lead to the cathepsins leaking out of the membrane if it's impaired. What that's going to do is that the exosomes, they're more likely to go towards the tumors and cancer cells. And once tumors receive exosomes, they do terrifying and devastating effects on the human body, especially when it comes to dismantling the immune system. But that's with the exosomes. That's what tumors do with exosomes, but that's a rabbit hole for a different day. Also, so as a result of magnesium being low, the cathepsins leak out, and the exosomes can't be degraded, because that's what the cathepsins are supposed to do. That the cathepsins function is to degrade the exosomes. And magnesium is also required at the chromatin DNA level to move over the nucleosome out of the way of the DNA, because the nucleosome seems to hold tight the DNA, so that genes and transcription factors can't interact with the DNA inside of the chromatin. But again, a different rabbit hole for another video. A quick recap: oral biofilms are inhibited by fluoride, which isn't good because oral biofilms play a role in oral health. Sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS, a surfactant, disrupts biofilm structure. Zinc salts in toothpaste reduces volatile sulfur compounds, leading to biofilm disruption. Fluoride increases the risks and likelihood of tumors receiving devastating exosomes, because fluoride decreases magnesium absorption and magnesium transporters, because magnesium is required for cathepsins to stay inside the lysosome, so that the cathepsins can degrade the exosomes. And magnesium is required for the nucleosome to shift over, for the gene transcription factors to access the chromatin and DNA. So that's it for the video. If you want more future videos, then like, comment, share, and subscribe, and keep it locked in here on my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.